Brian, you run a successful recruitment business. We've spent a few years chatting about the different methods and mantras that you have and models that you have. But one thing that always comes back is how to turn one CV send into 2, 3, 4. Talk to me about what that means. But more importantly, it's not just numbers, it's marginal gains, it's whatever you want it to be. But what do you mean by it? And why is it so critical to the average recruiter's desk right now?
Well, your typical recruiter is looking at the job they're working on today. And therefore, all they're thinking about is that job. And again, people watching this will say, oh, the obvious thing is I'll see if I have any other jobs I can send this person for. And that is the obvious thing. Do I know any clients who hire this type of person? Let me check in and see. Maybe they haven't advertised it. Maybe they haven't handed it out to agencies. So that's the obvious one. But that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the active passives. Okay. Now, what does active passive mean? An active candidate, someone they're up on LinkedIn, they're applying for jobs. In that, we believe on average that our clients will interview about 5 people for a job. And within that, only 1 gets the job. Yeah. What happened to the other 4? Okay. Now, again, what we believe from our stats is that 2 of them find other jobs and 2 of them stay where they are.
Yes.
Why do they stay where they are? I really wanted that job. Maybe I was a close second. I didn't get it. Doesn't mean they're not a good candidate. They just weren't what that client was looking for. For me, that candidate is gold because they've given up on sneaking around and putting on a suit when we used to do face-to-face interviews, in the back of the car and pretending to be sick or whatever they're doing to do the interviews. And they go, oh, geez, I just want to leave. I just had enough, right? Yeah. So with that in mind, when you first screen that candidate, think beyond this current job. Think beyond the next job you're going to get and the one after and the one after. That candidate is good for you for another 12, 18 months. Okay. But when you screen them, the key thing is not to just screen them for this job. Ask them about what does their ideal job look like? Yeah. Where would they like to live? What would they like to do? Now, suddenly you have good screening notes and you have this person tucked away. A new job comes in. What's the first thing you do? You go back through your screening pipeline. So these are all the candidates that you've talked to. And guess what? You've done a good screening. So you have good information on them sitting in your database. And you are able to very quickly screen them in or screen them out. He's looking for too much money. He's looking to move to this location. Imagine if you had that person who wants to move to Manchester, but they're still in London and now you have a job in Manchester that's good for them. They're going to listen to you. But what we're looking about is that when that new job comes in, maybe not, and again, depending on how agencies work, but maybe not your job, you're thinking, do I have anyone for this? Very quickly, a tear sheet in Bullhorn, a quick search. So what we do is we put people on a tear sheet and then we use the Boolean for that job and we run it to identify the people on my tear sheet who could be a fit. So I'm narrowing it down really quickly. I find 3 or 4 people. I look at them. He's too expensive. I wonder, did he find another job? Quick check on LinkedIn. Nah, he's still in the same place. What do you do? Hey, John, do you remember you said you want that job in Manchester and you want to be a team leader? I have the job for you. Now, what's really brilliant about this is this candidate isn't active. This candidate doesn't have his hand up on LinkedIn. He's not applying for jobs. You have found a candidate that nobody else has. Your competitors don't have this person because you were the only person who went back to them. And you might do this once every 3 or 4 months. And they think, hey, Brian is looking after me. Brian is thinking about me. And that is the key. So that's how you turn.
It's basic stuff. And it's those silver medalists. They're still on the podium. They're still on the podium.
Customer service. Yeah.
Totally. Absolutely. Well, brilliant. So what we're talking about is right at the beginning of the process when you're screening, get ready to place them, whether or not it's with the first job you put them forward for, or whether or not you backfill other roles with them later on. They're silver medalists. They might be gold eventually. Keep working the candidate. Thank you very much.
50% of the placements we make are with candidates like this.
Which is, I'm not going to call it easy money because that puts the reputation of recruiters down as being an easy job, and it is a sophisticated job. And what you've just outlined there is a smart process of working the candidate rather than just working the job that they've gone for. Fantastic. Thank you very much.